Hey everybody, how's it going? Nerdly K is first one here. Fabulous Phase, Rena Bean, nice to see you guys. We have emotes that are live today. That was the first thing I checked today, got really excited about. But you can now use the cottage emote and also the hype emote. There it is, woohoo! And I posted on Twitter what the little codes for those are. Anyway, before I started earlier today, I also changed my overhead camera setup. I moved it a little bit closer and at a slight angle instead of being directly overhead, and then I also moved it down. So hopefully that'll make things easier to see. Oh, I love seeing these little emotes in the chat. Hi everybody, thank you for coming to hang out with me, and welcome to our stream. I decided to stop being a little bitch and make my own paint colors. Because I did not go and get any new paints between last stream and this one, but I decided that I can mix my own and solve my problems that way. So that's my goal for today, is mixing up my own colors to make what I need. I know, right? Mind-blowing. Like, you can mix paint colors together? It's crazy. Anyway, I used to just, like, exclusively paint with, like, custom color blends, and then I got lazy after a while. So I've moved some lights around, too. But now when I have my house up, it'll be this much closer to the camera, and hopefully much easier to see. Heck yes. Alright, so this is my same, like, dark red color that I used for shadows on the roof last time. And this time, I'll mix a bunch of it actually. This time, I'm going to add blue to it and make some purple. Make it a little bit more toward the purple end of the spectrum. So wish me luck. That's fine. Puina coming in and out of the chat. That's cool. Thanks for being here today. I love that we have a fairy house project going in the middle of my, or as soon as the emotes are live, we've got a fairy house today, so you can use that little cottage emote if you so desire. So let's see how this goes. And now you can actually see my little paint mixing process too. Hype. That's very nice and pigmented. Alright. I actually forgot that I had this like bright blue when I was painting on this the other day, but between the dark red and the bright blue, we now have a very highly pigmented purple, which is really dark. So, is that going to work on the house itself? Let's see. Might add more blue. Might add more blue. Let's do it. So this is also just kind of a color experiment. Hi there, Stealth Slug. Welcome to the stream. Hey, Afrey, thank you so much for the sub with Twitch Prime. And now you have access to our brand new emotes, as well as thank you for helping me towards my sub goal. I swapped around the setup a little bit on my display at the top of the screen. Now there is a sub goal. Since I didn't really have a specific donation goal in mind, I thought that this would be a little bit more, I don't know, it made more sense. And that way we can work towards milestones and you guys will actually know how many current subs there are. But, you know, just always making little updates and things. Okay, so this is much closer to the blue that I've already established here, so I like this. It is purpley, but it's definitely more on the blue end. So I think it goes really well with the other stuff I've already got set up. I'm going to put a little bit of pigment in here. And then I'm going to add glaze to that as well. Oh, thank you, A-Frey. They said they've been lurking for a long while. Keep up the great streams. Thank you. I will try. I'll do my best. Anyway, today's been a pretty good day so far. I really messed up my sleep schedule. I've been trying to correct it, and so sometimes I get like down on myself if I don't start early enough in the day, and I realize like, hey, who cares? I can start at whatever time I start, but I really need to just keep doing work. So that's my personal pep talk for the day is like, well, I'm just going to start when I start. What kind of glaze? This is a glazing medium from Liquitex. And I am basically trying to lower the opacity of this color so that I can use it for shading along the rest of the house. And I'm doing this in a separate cup so that I don't mess with the original mixture, so I can use both. Granny J is working on crocheting some Valentine's Day Valentine's Day gifts, and crafting streams are nice for working during. I'm glad to hear that. Are you the one who posted the bunnies in our Discord community? Because I loved those. Sometimes I have a hard time keeping up with people that have different names on the Discord compared to the Twitch stream, so please forgive me if I don't always connect the right person to their Discord posts. Oh, you're not that person. Okay. Well, either way, we had some really cute, really adorable things posted in our Discord of somebody who's making Valentine's gifts for their friends as well. Okay, and so now I have, you can't even tell that the opacity is down, but I added a bunch of glazing medium to this, and so that's going to help me spread it around and spread it and blend it. Now, I'll back the light off a little bit so that it doesn't completely over. There we go. I don't want it to add so much glare that it's not functioning well. Oh yeah, this is nice. This smooths beautifully actually. I'm starting in the corners to add some shading to the purpley blue areas. And this is a glossy medium, so it's still gonna look glossy. So applying it over our color shifting top coat. That's what that was. If you're nocturnal, you're valid. Thank you. I appreciate that. I always feel like I need to start my streams earlier in the day because a lot of people, I don't know. I think I'm just trying to accommodate like people in other time zones or something. But I mean, you know, there's always going to be people who can't watch because it's the wrong time for them. And, you know, I'm sorry, but I have to do things that work for me. And I think, you know, that's a statement that's more directed at myself of like, you know what, just do it. Just forget about it. You can't please everybody. Just do what you can. So that was Heidi's own pep talk. Okay, so this is actually super light now that I added all that mixing medium to it. So now I'm going back to my undiluted pigment, and even just adding a little bit of this really makes it much, much darker. You can see that now because I've adjusted my camera. Cool. So that's why I have like two different versions of this purple color. See, I know how to mix paint sometimes. What else did I want? Oh, I'm also going to use a little Q-tip. Sometimes I use these for blending when the paint is already on the surface. See how that goes. Wow, that added a lot of depth. Cool, that was the goal. Awesome. Happy 1 a.m. Time is an illusion. Well, anyway, I've finally reached the conclusion of just like, I guess that's my like self lesson for the day is like, just do it. Just forget about how it's not the perfect time or you're not a perfect person, and just do what you can. So there's Heidi's personal pep talk. Maybe that will reach some of you guys with whatever you're struggling with today. But heck yes. Summon ghosts 3 a.m. forest stream? No thank you. I don't want to be in the forest at 3 a.m. That's how you end up getting turned into a ghost. You guys are nice for keeping me company while I make these little houses. This one shading color has already done a lot for me today. Anyway, instead of streaming yesterday, I did a bunch of business around the house, like actual business, stuff for my business. And then I played Breath of the Wild for the rest of the night, which is also a good decision. And I had to replay that part. Well, this is my second playthrough through the whole game. I've already played Breath of the Wild and beat it once, but that was on a console I don't own personally. And so I got a new one and have been working on that. Ooh, Nikolai says their sketchbook is on the way. That's exciting. Thank you for ordering that sketchbook. That's the one from my merch store, which has Aries' face on it. You can check that out in the description below this video. But, heck yes. Oh, good night, Navita Luna. Sorry I started too late tonight, but I'm gonna keep working hard and streaming at whatever times I can. And hopefully we'll correct my sleep schedule and start a bit earlier. What else was I saying about Breath of the Wild? Oh yeah. I had to, so now I'm replaying the entire game, and so I'm familiar with all of it because I've explored the whole map and beat every boss and all of that. But I'm also just exploring the whole thing fresh. And last night I had to play that part where you go through the Yiga clan hideout, and I had been putting that off since like October. I like started that quest and then got frustrated because I couldn't make it through, and just didn't go back to that area for months. And last night I beat that section again, and that was nice. So basically what I'm saying is I had a very productive evening even though I didn't stream. I beat some ninjas. Tricked them with bananas. I'm already very happy with my camera change decisions. I wasn't sure if it was going to be worth it, but it was definitely worth it. So, I don't know if this will solve our autofocusing issue, but it might. Oh, nope, there it goes again. There it goes, re-autofocusing. You can already see a huge difference between this section over here versus the rest of the blue. Cool, that's what I want. That's the idea. Oh, nice. Salmon Row has been playing Breath of the Wild just for the first time, I take it, just recently. That is exciting. It's nice when you get to enjoy something for the first time. Or the second time, in my case. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to my paint. I need to do this carefully. I need a little dropper. You know what? I'm gonna have to run upstairs because I have a specific tool for this, but I'm gonna go get it. So I'll be right back. I'm not even gonna switch to the BRB screen because I'm just gonna give me like 30 seconds. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Time to seduce some villagers? Nice. Alright, I just went and got a pipette so that I can carefully add water to my paint without... I'll add a little bit of water to that one. I'm so agile. Thank you, Zippity. Your compliments are a little over the top sometimes, but they're still appreciated. No mods post nice things about Heidi. You're nice. You're too nice. I'm at least okay. Okay, the water that I added should allow things to be applied a little bit more smoothly without affecting the transparency, really. We'll see how that goes. Puina says she still has her eye on you. Alright, here's my little paint mixtures. Those can hang out over there. So, back to this. Let's see if this paint will spread a little bit more smoothly now with the extra water. Lost Sock is saying, how are you? Hope life is going well. It's going okay. I've like created a new scale of what's normal, what's okay versus not okay. And you know, sometimes it's hard to summarize, but the fact is that it's always improving. And so, even when I'm feeling down, I just think, hey, I'm doing so much better than I was a month ago. Or sometimes even a week ago. Yeah, you can really see a much bigger difference in the color variations now. And I think this shading is helping a lot. It definitely needed some more of that. And the snow is gone. Yesterday it was like flurrying all day. Flurrying? There were snow flurries out all day. And it was very, very cold. And that always makes me feel kind of like not in the mood to work very hard. So, today I woke up and it was raining a little bit, but the actual snow had all melted away, and so that's kind of nice. Oh, I missed a question earlier. Some other things. Simid Sims was asking, do I make the fairy houses myself? No, I do not. This was just like a blank fairy house that I started painting on. But this one I have done entirely on stream, so if you feel like going back to older streams, you can see where I started from. But it was originally solid white, and now it is much more colorful. Now that you have a better view of my painting, I don't feel so bad for getting deeper into concentration and spending more time on the work itself. I felt like when you couldn't see as well, then it was probably a little more boring, but we're trying to improve that. I have to also make sure my painting skills are up to par. And be able to see more of the little mistakes I might accidentally put in there. It means defenses for goblin attacks. Are you talking about the fairy house? Okay, I'll think about that one. You like how the roof has turned out? Thank you. Me too. It's really getting into the point where the extra paint layers and the shading and other details that go onto it really go a long way in changing the appearance. How's Aries? He's doing well. He's been ornery. He's upstairs sleeping. I was petting him before I started today, but he didn't seem interested in following me downstairs. But yeah, things are going pretty well for me here in relative terms. We're doing relatively well. Thanks, guys. It's really nice to have encouraging people here to chat with while I'm doing my thing. I'm still working with emote artists. I requested and received a latte emote all in one day yesterday. I talked to my artist. Yes, the trim will stay white. I was talking to my artist, one of my artists, and I was like, hey, can you do a latte emote? And she was like, sure. By the end of the day, I had received my finished latte emote. She was so fast with it. So it literally looks like the lattes that I drink. And that has been submitted, the iced latte. So that one's still pending approval from Twitch because I only just submitted it yesterday. But hey, it's already out there in the internet, in the world. And so there's other emotes and stuff coming soon too. Can't wait to have it in 3 weeks, says Puina. Yeah, I wish it was a little bit faster. Maybe if I get approved for partnership, then they'll give me my emotes faster, but who knows. I have not yet applied for partnership again. I applied a few years ago and didn't get it. And I was sad about that, so I haven't tried again. Hey, I like that. Sakura just joined the Forest Dwellers. Thank you so much. With Twitch Prime, they've been subbed for 2 months. Yay, we've got more of that. So welcome to the Forest Dwellers, and I hope you enjoy your brand new emotes that we finally have available. The latte might be stale in 3 weeks. Lattes are always good. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my super pigmented, non-diluted shade color and really get into this bottom area first. As I was playing Breath of the Wild last night, I was inspired, of course, by all of the amazing costume pieces in that game, and was once again looking at this like, okay, what other projects do I want to make from this game? And while that's still a question that I'm mulling over, I decided that I want to do a series of leatherwork pieces from that game, kind of as a way of easing myself back into it. Probably stuff that I can sell rather than like full costumes, but I've been wanting to do a leatherwork book for a while, so I need like example projects that are up my alley, stuff that people would be interested in seeing. And so tentatively, that is a direction I would like to go with these Twitch streams as I get back into leatherworking, to do some of that on stream and show off some of the Breath of the Wild pieces that I want to make. So, perfect timing on the fairy fountain music. But I'm looking forward to doing that. Yeah, leatherworking. So if you have any specific requests, I would be interested to at least hear them. But the stuff that was on my mind was like some of the crowns that are in that game, like the circlets, I think would be really interesting made out of leather, actually. Because you can get a surprising amount of strength from relatively small pieces of veg-tanned leather. As well as, what else caught my eye? Oh, I was in the Gerudo territory, so he had to wear the Gerudo Link getup where he looks like a girl. And that also caught my eye. I know that game has been out for a few years now. It's not exactly trendy, but I don't know. The designs are just so good. No reason not to keep making them. Hinox cosplay? I'll pass. Not exactly what I had in mind, but thanks for the idea. Good games are always trendy. That's the spirit. And that one is one that people are still cosplaying from quite a bit, I think. So I'm brushing upwards against this siding so that the paint that I'm applying kind of like bunches up in that crack, which is exactly what I wanted. And that way it will be darkest underneath each layer. That's true. Breath of the Wild 2 might bring even more, it might reignite people's interests, but it's still going to be popular. Yeah, I was thinking about the Koroks. Oh, I hadn't even thought of this, but the forest dwellers are Koroks are basically forest dwellers, and they also have specific items in the game that are called the forest dweller items. So there's like a forest dweller bow, a forest dweller spear. I don't remember if there's other things. Maybe a shield. Koroks are, Corvidae is asking, those are Korok, yeah, like from the Breath of the Wild game, or from various Zelda games. Forest Dweller coffee mug, yeah. Honestly, I can add that to the merch store. But that inspired me even more. I was like, I don't have a reason to make a bow or a sword, but I could. I could just cosplay Link. Bows and swords are cool, that's true. But you know, I already have a few of them. I have limited time to devote to new projects, but I gotta keep making more stuff. Yeah, this shading is adding so much to my little house. Pretty happy about that. Be the Link you want to see in the world? That's a good idea. I just still have so many Zelda costumes to make. I'm gonna switch to a bigger brush. Why does hand sewing take so much time? To teach you patience, so that you feel really satisfied when you're done. Yes, hand sewing is very tedious, but I often find it to be so satisfying once you finish a project with it. It does require patience, though. So now I'm hitting the high points with the Q-tip Some that I'm not adding too much shading in areas that I actually want to stay brighter. We'll see how that goes. You got channel points? I don't know. I don't know what you do with those. You can highlight a message to make sure I read it out loud, or that I just see it. I don't even know what else you do with the channel points, but hey, thanks for watching. Collect those points. I'm seriously like, there we go. Don't read this, but I did. You can rent subscriber emotes with them? Oh, that's interesting. That's a good idea. Okay, so this whole side has now been shaded in. It's not really perfect, but I think it looks pretty cool. I would really love to get to a point where I'm doing the moss and stuff. Maybe later today. Thanks, Rena Bean. I see your highlighted message. Oops. Yeah, I think that the depth is a lot much nicer now that you can really see it. Okay, we'll just do this side. Zippity has 22,000 channel points. That's a lot. I don't even know what you would do with that much, especially when you're already a subscriber. But hey, thanks for always coming to these streams. You are a loyal watcher. I appreciate that. You only come for the points. Well then, you're certainly succeeding in racking them up. Now there's just like a bunch of highlighted messages that I have to read. Get to read. Thank you. Once you get up to 100K, you'll only post highlighted messages. I admire that tenacity. For legal purposes, that was a joke. I got it. I know how you are. It does really boost that base. You know what I mean? I think I do need to keep the Q-tip on hand though for what I wanted. Sometimes it's hard to keep moving forward when all you see is baby steps and tiny bits of progress, and that's true in art projects and in life in various ways, but I guess I'm finally reaching a point where I am able to celebrate those baby steps, and so that's really great. Rainfish says, that's one thing I have learned from these streams, and you're grateful for that. Take small steps to learn. That's good to hear that that's been your takeaway. That's what I'm trying to remind myself each time. But I think it's finally working. A lot of small steps will gradually add up to a big change. And that is something that I've gotten to experience over the last year or so. I kind of constantly feel like I'm in over my head in life and just in streaming and other things, but you know, all of the baby steps together have added up to a lot. Big changes, big moves, big improvements in my habits and lifestyle. And so all of those things I'm really grateful for. You discovered me via Twitter? Well, thanks. And also I apologize for most of my tweets. Unfortunately, the rest of this week is going to stay really cold, so I don't know if I'll have an opportunity to go out to the park again. At least not really soon, but that's always on my mind again. Since I had such a nice time last time. I really want to go back. Oh, I made a highlighted clip of my stream when I found the cursed pants. So in case you missed that stream, and last time we're confused why I was talking about the cursed trousers, you can now go and watch that little clip yourself on my highlights. Yeah, there's that little fairy cottage emote. Makes me happy to see. I feel like this camera, or like this shiny finish reflects oddly on camera, but it's just a learning process, I guess, for how to use it most effectively. Gotta keep wiping off those highlights before I make it all too dark. Yeah, I could probably use a much larger brush for this open area. Let's do that. Let's see how that goes. What do I want to use? Oh, this one's only somewhat larger. How big do we want to make it? That's a real question. Brush is all stiff. Maybe I didn't wash that out well enough. Oops. This seems fine. I don't want it to get too out of hand. I don't think this one's ever been used. But yeah, I'm starting to make Sakura-Con cosplay plans and photo shoot plans with a couple people. So my projects are still just mostly what you've seen here, but I'm looking to add more cosplay related stuff back in, both for fun, for teaching, and for potentially selling eventually. And those are the moves that I'm making right now. Thanks, Zippity. I'm glad you think that my plans are epic. I'm just doing my best. Getting back into it. Doing the things I'm good at, I suppose. Trying to be. More of the teacup villages? Yeah, I'd like to do that. I have supplies sitting out here right now. This was just the one I started first, and then I really wanted to show it through to completion rather than running off to the next thing right away. So that's what we're doing. Is everyone hydrated? That's a good question. I have my water here next to me, next to my latte, but I keep reaching for the latte because of course I do. Oh, okay. I'm gonna run out of these little Q-tips soon. All right. All right, I'll actually drink some water since you reminded me. There you go. Being a good influence on me even. I need it. I need somebody to remind me. Hold up, just sending back a message. Alright, moving on to the next section. I'm getting kind of tired of painting this purple, but you gotta do it. You gotta keep going before my paint dries up. I'll swap over to doing this front section. Hi Pundawan, welcome. Hey Vince Rants. Got some friends here. Go back to a tiny brush. I'm going to start getting down into these corners. The unpainted side looks so different, for real. These shadow layers really add a lot. That would be kind of funny if I did some graffiti on the fairy houses. You know, like, maybe this fairy house isn't in a great area, and so those goblins will come by and paint their goblin gang signs. Those pesky goblin gangs. I probably won't do that, but that would be a pretty cute idea if I did a fairy house that just looks like a crack house or something. But like, it's still whimsical and tiny. Put like garbage in the yard and like... I'll probably do some cute ones first. But hey, there's infinite varieties for different styles that are still valid. Or maybe it isn't a great area and the graffiti is like, nicest fairy ever lives here. That's a nice concept. I don't think I've ever seen that in reality. I always secretly wanted to be a graffiti artist when I was younger, but I have never done it. It's just a whimsical fantasy, I suppose, of my younger years. I'm a really big fan of this new camera placement. I think that helps a lot with being able to see what I'm actually working on. I'll probably move it from time to time, depending on the project, but I think this is already a large improvement in just like being able to show the amount of detail that I'm adding on here. I'm also trying to improve my posture because it's one thing that I struggle with and have for years and years, is just like holding myself up straight. I'm sure being an artist who's always like hunched over whatever project I'm doing doesn't help either. But looking back at some of my older streams, I was like, ugh, I really need to sit up straighter. So you become more aware of things like that when you watch yourself, unfortunately. But gives me something else to improve on that has actually benefited me quite a bit, so that's good. I think having any kind of backrest support for my chair would be a good idea because I'm just sitting on a swivel stool right now. I should probably get myself like a nice chair for this area, but it hasn't been a priority. Too much else going on. Yoga routines, yeah, I have also been doing yoga. I don't do it regularly enough probably, but I do a lot of stretching in general. Plus I think those forest walks are going to really help once I get going regularly. Even just walking around for 1 hour last time was, I could really feel it the next day, far more than I expected. Probably because there's so many hills and things, there was a lot of ups and downs, but it's good to get exercise, especially when it's just something as enjoyable as walking around in a forest. So I'll keep doing that stuff. So yeah, it's a combination of trying to just take care of myself better, as well as making little minor improvements in my surroundings to make things easier on myself. Like a desk chair is worth the money? Probably. I feel like an art chair, I don't know. It's like I'm in a different position than I would be if I were just like sitting on the computer or something. So I'm not really sure what I need to look for in terms of getting a nice chair for this area, because I'm not going to be like reclined in it, which is what a lot of like gaming chairs would be, but I literally want to be up and forward rather than sitting back and comfortable. So I don't know, maybe I'm just something I need to fix in my posture rather than my seat. There probably are still better chairs for a support than my little medical stool that I'm sitting on. I bought these tiny stools so that I could fit multiple ones in my craft room, but unfortunately I don't get to have people over very often. I'll get back to that eventually. Hi there, JP. Nice to have you in the chat today. I've just kind of gotten into concentrating on this. I'm not reading every single message that scrolls by, but thank you guys for being here. anytime I'm like streaming any project is always like a challenge to balance paying attention to the stream versus paying attention to the project. I do my best. Sometimes you just gotta buckle down and concentrate, especially on these little bitty areas. But I would love to be finished with this house and move on to the next one. I think this has really been drawn out by the streaming process since I'm not working on it off camera. I don't do as much, like, yeah, just not as much concentration and not as many hours have gone into it. Oh, that's nice. You feel a sense of nostalgia looking at it because it's similar to your childhood friend's house. Well, good. Then my plan is working. So yeah, I've been working on some store updates. That's just an always ongoing process. Store updates, little houses, playing Breath of the Wild to keep myself entertained. That's been really nice though, because for a long time I wasn't really doing anything for myself, just for fun. I would kind of force myself to work. If I was awake, I was working on something, even if it was just a little crochet project or whatever. And so it's only in the last couple of weeks that I'm like, hey, I need to do something that's not work, that's specifically for hobby time, where I'm allowed to not be just like solely working on something. It's designed to further my business as much as that needs to happen also. Like, it's just, that's how it leads to burnout when you don't do anything else. So I allowed myself to have an actual weekend this weekend and didn't force myself to do a bunch of stuff. Although I am glad I streamed on Sunday just because that was the one really nice weather day that we got. Okay, Car of Nerds is asking, what's everyone up to in the chat? Obviously sewing and forcing y'all to listen to me. So it's Car of Nerds. That's right. If you're here watching, as always, please keep us updated if you're working on your own project. And also, please do check out our Discord community if you're not already a part of it. The link is in the description, or perhaps if Pweena is watching, she'll add the Discord command in the chat. There she is! She got it! She was so fast. But that is now linked in the chat as well as below the stream. So you can click on that to follow that to our Discord community where people are always sharing their own projects. And I like to check in there and see what people are up to because it inspires me to keep going, and it's a really wholesome community of people who are interested in forest crafts and whimsical artwork and all of that. Especially that like knitting and crochet channel is always going strong, and I'm like constantly amazed by the progress I see in there. It's good motivation for me to keep my projects going too. Got people working on knitting, writing, gift art. Studying for your driver's permit. That's exciting. Good luck with that. And knitting and crochet is where the party's at, boys. Heck yes it is. That illustration channel is also really busy all the time. I don't really post much in there besides from like just, you know, complimenting other people's work. I don't really do a lot of illustration, but hey, maybe I need to challenge myself to do something in that category so I can share. And Prina's doing homework. Well, at least you can hang out with us while you're working on that. It always feels like I don't make enough progress on these houses, the little fairy house during the stream. But then when I look back, it's like, I can see a difference every time, and then also on top of that, like, sometimes you need to take breaks, take a step back and look at it again with fresh eyes the next time. And then you can see the next step when perhaps you were overwhelmed before. So that's something that I remind myself when I'm doing art, that breaks can be good, fresh eyes can be good. Oh, Rena has some fresh watercolor experiments you haven't posted. Nice. Alright, yay, there's another section done. This lower section needs to still be shaded in. That really makes such a huge difference. I'm curious what will happen if I add it to the upper section. No, it needs its own color. It does. I'll have to add some, I think if I even just added white to lighten up that pigmentation, I would like it more. Granny J says, yeah, the minute I start getting frustrated with something, I know to put it away and come back later. For sure. You know, as artists, it's easy to be down on yourself if you don't like how your project is looking, and then sometimes stepping away from it can allow you to kind of separate yourself from those feelings, to where like you might be disappointed with the progress that you're getting, but then after you take a break you're like, oh, it's not so bad, this is fine. And you know, as artists we all just have to come to terms with our work and our pieces that way. But breaks can be very good things. It allows you to think about alternate solutions or approaches with the work. As well as just kind of separating yourself from the feelings that you might have, like a feeling of frustration during the working process. If you take a break and come back, you might not feel the same way about it. So. Okay, this area is gonna need the concentration. Getting right down there into that little bitty doorway. After this, I only have one more side to do with this stuff. As always, we're listening to Radio Cutman. It's a great channel, a lot of really good tunes. And that is also linked in the video or down below the video. You can go to radiocutman.com and that URL will redirect you to the YouTube channel where it is streaming 24/7. Always on hand. These jams, always on hand. And the artist, DJ Cutman, is also a really great guy who also loves orange cats, and we bond over that on Twitter. Nikolai, heading home from work, enjoy your commute, if you can. Maybe we'll see you when you're home. I'm very excited for you to receive your notebook that you ordered as well. Please do share your Aries sketchbook when you get it, and let us know what art you put inside of it. I have to start using mine to sketch more ideas. I just need to sketch more in general. I need to decide what kind of window treatment I'm going to add to this little house. Sometimes I use leaves, but this house being more of like a realistic style, I don't know if that's the right choice. So I have some time to decide. I could put fabric inside there, like a sheer fabric. This house is designed to have an electric candle inside of it. Not a real candle, but an electric one. A little LED light or something. And there's definitely plenty of space on the inside to just like glue some fabric over these sections. So fabric is an option, or if I come up with something even more unique, that could be interesting. I was just thinking about that like plastic sheeting that I used for my windows upstairs. It could be kind of cool. But we'll see. We'll see if there's other ideas. JP says, as for projects, we're working on a few. Voice work for a friend. Nice. Some creative writing. A podcast. That sounds nice. That's something that they have some personal experience with. You can use a platform in your art to help fight against negative stigmas. That sounds like a very worthy goal. So good luck with all of that. That's what I like to hear. People are doing things to improve their own communities or reach out to other people who might not be familiar with their experiences. So this is the only side that hasn't been shaded. And you can really see a difference between the shadows that are now in the front versus, well, these sides are even easier to compare. So this one I've done some shading down and around the tree. I'll probably add even more. Make it really bold if I can. You can't wait to see it with a candle? Me too. I have an example candle down here. Maybe I'll pull that out once I'm ready to start looking at window covering options. It's weird because this is like it feels like powdery inside. I'll have to be careful when I'm adding the window coverings to it, but heck yes, I am excited to move this house along. Now I'm just adding some outright darker paint over here. This is not this unpainted side. This is the one that has been shaded, but I'm trying to like amp it up a little bit. Let's do that for a minute. I'm also going to... Hey! Thank you, Evil Crash, that gifted a sub to the community to Wraith Knight. Thank you so much. And shared emotes for that. Thank you so much. And that is moving us towards our sub goal as well. So that's exciting. Thank you. And now we have more emotes for people to enjoy. Now that the emotes actually exist, there's, you know, incentive to sub, I suppose. So we have another latte emote coming, as well as those Aries emotes that had kind of been stalled on that, but it's still coming. Don't you worry. Oh, my computer fan is kicking on. You will exclusively use the latte emote, Zippity? Does that mean that you're the only one who's going to use it, or that that's the only emote that you're going to use? That everyone else will be like, oh, here's Aries, use the Aries emote, but Zippity's like, no, latte. Latte time. I'm always using like Q-tips and paper towels to like scrub at the paint. That's a really big difference though. Now from this side to this side, you can see more changes. Okay. Back to this side. And this is our last unpainted side. Paper towels are the best art supply? I mean, yeah. You gotta put the paint on, rub the paint on, and then rub it off. Alright. Maybe you guys can help me to remember to sit up straight while I'm working on things. You can always feel free to yell at me if I'm hunched over too much in the stream. Be like, Heidi, you need to sit up, girl. I really love this song too, but I forget what it's even from. All of the music on this stream, most of it is from games, remixes, and things like that. Not all of it, but most of it. And I don't always know like the sources for things, I just think of it as being, oh, that's from Radio Cutman. Hi there, Jamelis. Welcome. Oh, this is Shenmue. Loop 6 from Shenmue. This is the Funk Fiction remix. So now I know. Sitting up straight. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna remember. Is it just me, or does it seem like the camera has had less autofocusing issues this stream? I'm not like looking at the screen regularly, so maybe some of you guys out there can answer that question. But in the past, my overhead camera like freaks out. I think it doesn't like looking directly down. Jamala says, hello, hello, love the blue. Thank you. Thank you, Evil Crash, for the posture reminder. And then, yeah, both Zippity and Carve Nerd saying that the camera has improved. Well then, I think that, yeah, adjusting the angle allowed it to chill out a little bit. So now it's at like, instead of looking directly down, it's at a steep angle that's kind of slanted. And I think that it freaks out less now that it's not figuring out which way is up, perhaps. Because in the past it's been like constantly refocusing, like it's having a seizure, and that gets difficult to watch. So yay, I'm really happy with these improvements. I often feel frustrated with myself for not being farther along in various ways, like in terms of emotional recovery, or even like streaming. I should be farther along, I should be more active, etc. And that's really not fair. It's not how life works. Like we were talking about with the baby steps earlier, like I have to just do things one day at a time, one stream at a time, figure things out as I go, gradually learn how to correct and upgrade and change. And nothing else is realistically gonna make, a big difference. Like, it doesn't matter if I beat myself up over, or if I compare myself to an idealized image of what I wish I was, where I wish I was already in terms of my career or my art or my healing. Literally all I can do is just compare myself to yesterday. Am I doing better than I was last week or last month? Heck yes I am. And so, as much as my brain wants to say like, oh well, you should be already here or already successful in whatever way, it's like, shut up, I'm doing better. And that's really just kind of like me fighting against my own feelings. Like nobody else is out here criticizing me for not already being further along in whatever way. It's mostly just fighting against myself. So I'm learning how to manage that better. And as always, making baby steps towards progress. Thanks, Girardi Kid and Zippity, both with the positive messages in the chat. And yeah, I'm kind of just talking out loud about what goes on in my mind. Like, I agree that it's just a matter of time and practice and consistency. And those are all things that I am willing to devote. Devote isn't a word. I'm ready to devote myself to slow improvements, practice, gradual change. Holy Mittens says, all steps are positive steps, no matter how large or small. I like that. I think going slower with the small brush is actually giving me better results, even though I want to just slap paint all over it. I'm going to keep going with this one. Yeah, I know that, like, don't compare yourself to others, compare yourself to yourself is such a common sentiment in art, but I need to remind myself that it's also true for stuff like streaming. I mentioned before, but it was always really hard for me to take myself seriously when I felt like I was living in the shadow of a larger creator. And that was not their fault. That was something that I needed to break past mentally. That I wasn't even really fully cognizant of how much I was holding myself back with that attitude of like feeling like I wasn't good enough because I wasn't as good as or as popular as my own partner at the time. And that created a lot of like negative mindset in myself that nobody else was responsible for. That was just something that I have learned to recognize and now deal with. And now that I'm on my own, it's like, oh, I don't even have to think about that anymore. I'm just doing as well as I'm doing. Let me do better than I did last week. Instead of wondering like, oh, do I deserve to be a creator because I'm not as popular as them or whatever. And that held me back for years. It's those kinds of questions and this sort of feeling of like, oh, well, I'm not really an online creator in the same way that they are. It was like I had bought into this idea that like only the best of human beings were allowed to be popular on the internet or something like that, or that people who did have sort of an online success were somehow in a different category than the rest of us lowly humans, and that I was somehow like not good enough to be among them, and so it didn't matter how hard I worked. It was, this was a very negative and incorrect mindset that I had for years, and just believing that like only certain people deserved it, or only, you had to be born talented and lucky, and that was the only way that you were ever going to get a kind of online following. I don't think that's true anymore. I've been around the internet, and I've seen people of all different kinds, at all different levels of success, that are all doing their thing. And yeah, I think that anybody over time with dedication can create a thing that works for them, that can find a community of like-minded individuals. And yeah, like, there's still going to be individual levels of success out there based on who they are, what they're making, how much time and effort they put in. But I no longer believe that like only certain people are special enough to deserve it or something like that. It's a really people of King's stupid. People are effing stupid. Says how to be popular, have big boobs, a nice personality, get lucky, or know the right people. That's definitely an oversimplification, and I don't think that the boobs play into it nearly as much as others seem to think. So let's not do that. Nerdly K was asking, do you think it was some kind of imposter syndrome maybe? I suppose you could consider it related to that. I think it was more of the way that I idealized my partner and believed that they couldn't do anything wrong, or that they were so much more deserving or untouchable in a way. Because I mean, I guess you could say that it's in that same kind of category, but I've never felt like an imposter as an artist. I have felt like an imposter as an online creator, I guess you could say. Or like feeling like I would never achieve a level of success like my partner at the time had. And so therefore it was an impossible game. It was not worth trying, or it was not worth putting in the effort because he deserved it and I didn't, I think was the mindset that I had. And I don't think that's true anymore. There are certainly different factors in success, and stuff like luck or relationships, or sometimes the person's appearance, depending on what they're doing, what the content is. Those are all factors that can play into it, but there's really not any one formula or I don't know. It's a very complex thing. And really the takeaway that I hope the message I'm trying to put out there is like, you don't have to follow someone else's pattern, and it doesn't come down to like whether or not, some humans are just more special than others, or more deserving, or more, I don't know what. I don't believe in that anymore. Whale facts. A lot of hype emotes here. And Gruffin Chop says, it's good that you're figuring out how to work past that. Thank you. Yeah. That's really the message I'm trying to put out there, is that I'm moving past it, and I hope that my experience and the thing that I've learned, can help other people as well. That, depending on what you're trying to do there on the internet or whatever, there's different ways to go about it, and there's different ways to approach it, but I do believe that people of all types can find success at whatever the thing that they do is. Is that a champagne emoji? No, it's fairy dust bursting from a bottle. It says hype. But yeah, it's sort of like popping bottles. Pop bottles of fairy dust. That definitely is the right attitude. Yeah, it is like a popping potion bottle. Yeah, fairy dust is the concept behind it, but yes. Popping bottles. The fairy dust equates the hype. Creates the hype? I don't know. Sit straight. Okay. Water bottle, drink. Okay. Alright. It is the hype. Ooh. Okay. I keep doing that until my posture is better. Twitch controls Heidi, that's right. You can remind me how to do better. Okay, I'm gonna add some more of a darker color right around the tree like I did last time. And maybe a few other areas down in the shadows. I could, mooring away, give me a highlighted message saying you could add a channel point bit for posture or something. That is a good idea. How do I go about that? Is that one of the, like, a highlighted message options? Something to do with channel points? I don't know that much about how they work. See, I'm still learning how to be better at Twitch. But I believe that it's possible. Hydration bot? Yeah, I want to see hydration bot come through here. Oh, is that what the hydration bots are supposed to be for, is to remind the streamers to drink water? That is a good idea. Or like, is that a channel command of some type, rather, that they like personally set up? Alright, well then, I'm still learning something new about Twitch every day. I've seen them before, but I wasn't sure if that was like something that was just like a random account going around chatting. I think it's under the highlight options. Okay, I'll have to explore that and see if I can find a way to give people that prompt. Okay, I'm staying hydrated. I swear. I need to finish my latte before the ice melts. I've also been watching more Twitch, which I think is it's a good way to learn, of course. See what other streamers, what kind of gimmicks and like little bots and things they have set up. Hey Kelp Self, welcome! And now you can use brand new emotes. Oh wow, I've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. I'm gonna take a bathroom break. This stream will continue on for a while. I'm just gonna take a quick little break. So, give me a few minutes. Going to dehydrate? You're correct. Alright, I will be right back. I'm just gonna let things keep going. So yeah, potty breaks for everyone if you need one as well. We'll see you back in a few minutes. I have returned. Alright. We're still going. Thanks, guys. Lost Sock says, seeing your growth as a creator in person always reminds me to be your best. Well, good. I'm glad. Okay. I am going to mix some more paint. I still need to wash this paint palette better. Heidi, wash your damn paint palette challenge. Just gonna scrape some over. I wish I had like a tiny spoon for this, but I don't. And this is the color that I was using before. Use a straw? Nah, I don't think that would work. Should I just like obliterate this color? A little bit. I don't know if a pipette would do it either, and it would end up ruining my pipette, but whatever, let's try it. Oh, you know what? I'll use this color. This is much more pigmented. Please. Yeah, this is probably not the greatest way to move paint, but some of it went over, so let's keep mixing, see what happens. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed the pipette farting sounds on stream. And yeah, this seems effective, at least in terms of blending into another color. How was that pizza? The pizza was delicious. And I ate all of it and the leftovers yesterday. Hey, Zoo Cosplay. Zoo Cosplay 101, welcome. Yes, pizza update was pizza was successful. It was delicious. I'm glad I ate it. There's already a pizza emoji. You don't need a pizza emote. I don't eat pizza enough. Thank you, Puina, for the little bits to replace the pipette. It's fine. You know what? I wonder if I can just rinse it. It's gotta help at least a little bit. My little brush basin. Get out of there, paint. It's helping a tiny amount. Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed the question. Car of Nerds gave a highlighted message to say that Kelp Self was asking about the paints I'm using and mixing, whether or not I'm using a medium with the paints too. Not for most of it. I'm only adding the medium as a way of like diluting the paint a little bit to be a little bit more transparent and glossy. So the medium is not getting added to every color. For the most part, I am using my favorite plaid paints. But the medium is from Liquitex. So it's a mixture of brands, and just kind of adding the medium only when I need it. Okay. So now this will be a slightly darker color for these sections. We'll see how this works out. Hi Katie Cat, welcome to the stream. I feel like I've made a lot of progress on this one. On the stream at least. And we do have new emotes. The emotes have finally been approved by Twitch and they are active for people to use, so it makes me really happy. I feel like I've been streaming forever without emotes, which is not true. But it's just a nice improvement. And I have a slightly improved camera setup today also. To where you can see a closer overhead view, a little bit more of an angle. Thanks, guys. I could probably even use this as a slight highlight in some of the areas I just painted. And we'll see how this looks first. Spilled a little bit. That's okay, I can remove it. Got some paint on my white trim, so I'm trying to keep that section clean. And thanks mooring away. Yeah, these shadows are adding a lot. I'll have to brighten the white up probably before I'm done here, but that will be a later step. I'm actually going to keep this little tiny paintbrush going. Alright, see you later, Puina. Be good, chat, she says. We'll see how long that lasts. Just kidding. You guys are always good. Yeah, I think my tiny brush is making a big difference up here. Tiny brush time. Oh, you finished your flower crown mooring away? That sounds nice. You should post that up in our Discord if you haven't already. I always like seeing what people are working on during streams. It's nice to know that I'm not alone in my crafting sessions. Both in terms of like having people here to chat with, but also seeing what projects are underway for you guys. Oh, you did put it up? Alright, then I will check it after the stream. The chimney is cute? Thanks. I need to add a little bit more detail to the chimney as well, but I like the color of it. And I'm just glad that the camera shows so much more detail now. That was a good choice. Ooh. Whalefax says that they're in a crafty mood but have nothing to make. Oh, how can that be true? There's fairy houses and knitting projects and upcycling. Surely there's something on your to-do list. Alright, that's looking nice. And now we have another section down here. It has the same, I'm going to swap brushes again. Yeah, I think I just need to get into mixing more custom shades to finish off this house. It's a far more appropriate shadow shade in general for my lilac sections. Lilac ice, I believe, is what this color is called. Okay, now let's do the back of this upper roof section. I think just slowing down, allowing myself to concentrate more, it's going to help my paint quality too. I often feel like I need to rush things on the stream to like get further along. That's not true. I need to make it good. Oh, Nikolai's home now. Welcome back. I'm just still painting away on this little house. Yes, I have several leather armor projects coming up. Would be wonderful to start doing that stuff on stream again. I really just want to probably finish this fairy house before I get into that. Then the tap emote will be relevant again. Indeed. That one, I'm probably going to replace that emote just because it's so much older. But not until the other slots are full. Hopefully now with better vision, it'll be more interesting to see these details come together. Heck yes, that shading already worked better just because I slowed down and took a little bit more time with it. You're back with a snack? That sounds nice. Oh, oops, I need to plug my little tablet in. I just now realized it's almost 6 p.m. in my time zone. I had a nice late lunch right before I started streaming, so I'm not quite hungry yet. Kelp Self just pulled out an unfinished knitting project from 6 years ago. Hey, get it. That feels really good to go back to something that you've all but abandoned and finally see it through to completion. I think the oldest project that I've revisited was about 4 years old at the time that I finished it up. Heck yes, you're gonna go make something. Whale facts, I'm glad you came up with a plan, something to keep yourself occupied. Okay, I'm gonna use the same shade color that I created to add some more shadows to the window sections and areas that were near the purple sections, but that are probably less visible. Just adding more detail and blending more things. Oh, hey there, Mythic Phoenix. Welcome to the stream. We are adding details and shadows and other fun bits. My miniature painting skills are gradually improving. There's a little section over here where the pillar on the porch is broken. So I'm not actually 100% sure on whether or not I'm gonna well, I guess I'm just painting it instead of trying to repair it, so I guess I answered my own question, is that I'm really not gonna repair this. I need to just accept it. I think I'll paint the door this color as well. Or at least parts of it. This is such a good song. Welcome back, Axel. All right, that works. Cool. Here's where we're at right now with this little house project. All right. I'm gonna pull out my super dark green again. So we're getting back to work on this moss. And I officially finished my latte. This is Evergreen from Deco Art. I guess I can put some of these other colors away too. I'm going to start going back over the mossy sections, especially into the shadows and corners. And this section will be covered with the physical moss, but I want to really get nicely defined edges on it, which is the main goal of going back over it. was already there. So this is like a base layer for adding the actual moss onto. So we're gonna have textured real moss, dried moss on top of everything. Paintbrush, I did not do a good enough job washing it, and I feel like it's curling up at the edges, which I hate, so we're gonna get a different one, and I'm gonna vow to do better next time. I could go back to that other small one, but here, let's use another flat. This is a white bristled brush, so this is synthetic. We'll see. This does the job better. It's definitely smoother, so hoping for smoother application as well. Yes, this is a big improvement. So I'm just kind of working this into all of the little corners. I'm not necessarily trying to blend all of the green together because it's just like a base coat for the physical moss that will go on top of it. But I want to make sure that it has a nice solid green area to sit on top of so that it will look more crisp and beautiful at the end. So that precision is starting to matter more as each layer goes on. Your base coat can be kind of quick, but then you gotta really care more about each layer that goes on top of it. Of just making sure that it's blending and that you're not putting paint on in the wrong areas. And a lot of the time I just want to slap paint on there and go as quickly as possible. And perhaps for a more talented painter than myself, that might be a fine approach, but I'm definitely still at a point where I need to slow down and care about all the little details.
In search of the beat, DJ Drums. How you like it?
All right. Good night, Rainfish. It's heading out for the evening. Oh, nice. Rena has posted the poncho pattern in the Discord. Awesome. I'll have to check that out. Add a little bit more water to this to help with the smooth application. When the brush dries out quickly, that's what makes the bristles start to like spread, is because paint has dried unevenly on it and then causes them to curl up. So you want to keep your brush wet. Dry brushing is a useful skill at times, but it also can damage the brush just because you're allowing the paint to dry on it. And that's how you end up with a spiky brush with the bristles all curled up. So I need to remind myself of that. It also diluted my paint a little bit, so keep that nice and pigmented. So I'm focusing this darker color into the crevices and the shadows. But once again, this little tree shape is going to end up with physical I'm going to add like a more realistic looking tree. So instead of just a painted tree that's going to have leaves and things on it, I'm just doing the paint job first to cover up any potential gaps and provide a strong base coat to put more detail on top of. Ah yes, the crevice. Indeed. Trees are looking lush. Well, thank you. They're lush to start with, but they're going to look even more lush once they have physical leaves and stuff. Once they're all mossy. I hope anyway. Hopefully I can make it look good. I'm still learning too. But I've been very pleased with how things are coming along so far. I feel like the camera move alone has been a really big improvement in my stream. So yay, I'm glad I took some time to do that today, even though it meant starting my stream a little bit later. It was super worth it. Alright. Pardon my quiet stream for now. I don't chat as much when I'm like focusing really hard. But I still appreciate having people to talk to and read your little comments here and there. You're just here for the relaxation. Good. Well, I'm glad you guys are still enjoying watching even when I don't talk 100% of the time. I'm just tuned into crafting, you know? And there's still a lot to share and enjoy, I hope. Hi, cutest corgi. You caught a stream. Jamala says that they are jumping back and forth into the stream, and then every time you come back in, you see new colors and details. I'm glad. That does sound like an interesting way to keep up with it. Yeah, cutest corgi, I went and found some, I ran into some corgis in the woods during my walk and made a little highlight of that. So if you feel like checking out my highlights on Twitch, you will find Corgi Cam. Yeah, that was a really fun surprise. I was walking in the woods and they literally just ran up straight to me. They were not leashed, and so they were running around a bit with their master, but it was still a really nice surprise to just be chilling, and then suddenly Corgi appears. Suddenly Corgi. I do think that this darker green pass is adding a lot to the depth of the trees themselves, because I had just brushed on some kind of messy quick coats of green before this. We're getting more and more precise with each pass. How do you like these trees, chat? Am I getting better at trees? I think I am. I'm gonna eat the tree. You just watched the cursed trousers and the corgi highlight. That's right, I forgot. I also did the cursed trousers highlight. So, if you were curious about why I was talking about going back to the woods to collect and destroy the cursed trousers. That's just a part of my litter cleanup mission for the future. The trees look like forbidden broccoli? Well, good, I guess. Ooh, I'm definitely gonna have some broccoli with my dinner tonight. I have to counteract all the pizza I ate last time. Have a nice healthy dinner. There's all these little details and stuff on the bottom of the trees that didn't... No, there will not be a cursed trouser emote. That's hopefully not going to be a recurring thing. The more broccoli I eat, the more pizza I can have. Alright, that sounds like a good trade-off. Vegetarian pizza is a good balance? I don't know if it works that way either, but I do like veggies. Gotta put my veggies on things. Almost there on these trees. That's exciting.
You're listening to Radio Cutman.
That's right, we are. Crunchy broccoli. What am I looking at now? Everyone's just having broccoli chat. Oh, because I am painting trees and now talking about broccoli. That's how we got on this topic. You're always getting us off topic, but hey. I mean, that's what streaming is all about. It's just rolling from one topic to another as fate decides. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with me while I paint. I don't care what you talk about, as long as there's some good company and it's not too inappropriate. Alright, we've almost recovered these little sections. Oh, give me just a second. Oh, that's better. Maybe I do need a dinner break at some point soon. I'm still gonna keep going for a while though. All right, back to work. So I'm pretty much just gotta do the top section now. The trees look so much more vibrant now, and the grass and everything that I've added this. It's really like shading all of it. Even though it's gonna be covered. Rip. It still deserves all of the details. Here's that Shenmue song again that we like so much. That I like anyway. My painting skills are definitely improving over the course of this project. So that's encouraging. A little hair. Got it. In the chat, we've got a discussion of the origins, the genetic origins of broccoli as a plant. Well, I definitely learn something new every time I stream. Selective breeding. That is interesting. I think that's how most of the most popular vegetables and fruits evolved. Was with human intervention. I'm always impressed that people can grow their own herbs and things like that. I know that some of them are among the easier types of plants to take care of, but it's still impressive. And it's got to be nice to be able to like grab some fresh seasoning right out of your own garden and then get in the kitchen. A couple of my friends do that actually. Oh, there's a hair on my paintbrush. Get out of here. None of that. I will look forward to the summertime. Maybe I can think about planting something then. Right now, I don't know if I'm gonna even be in this house long enough to enjoy painting something. A lot of stuff is still up in the air for me, but that would be a nice idea to have a garden. I could put fairy stuff in it. Take little pictures of my houses outside in the garden. Sure, someone else would enjoy it if I plant catnip. That would be nice. I actually have so much catnip already. One of my friends that does herbs in their garden planted catnip and then sent me some. So Aries has a bunch of catnip that's been dried out and delivered for his pleasure. I need to give it to him more often. We'll do that on his birthday stream. Don't forget, March 1st, less than 1 month from now, Aries' birthday stream will keep us happy, keep us occupied. My friend is Aries' nip dealer. Yes, they are. I'll have to let them know that that's what they've been renamed. You can see there's like another little hair. I got it. Picked it up with the paintbrush. I hate it when you find little hairs or dirt contaminating your paint. You gotta get that out of there before it dries. Oops, sorry, I was letting my little house go off camera here. Almost made it around to the main sections. Okay. Oh, there's still some stuff back here. I need some cleaner edges. Alright, that stuff looks good. Now back to this area. almost there. Almost all the way done with this moss. That's exciting. It's looking pretty cool, I think. In my opinion, anyway. It looks moss-like? Well then, great. That means I'm doing an okay job. And then I have to decide what to feed myself tonight. Hello, Fatulous Phase. You're back. All right. I'm gonna give the same treatment to the small edges on the front overhang because I didn't fully darken these up. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Wraith Knight, saying that the detailing looks great. I feel like this has been one of the biggest changes, or this stream has been like some of the most visible changes, I suppose. Oh, the Naruto song. Okay. Almost done going around here. That looks nice. It looks much nicer than it did a little bit ago. Alright, now that I have all this green paint still out, I'm going to make sure that the bottom edge is very nicely covered. And a little bit on the bottom of the house itself. This doesn't need too much attention because it's mostly not going to be very visible, but it'll still be there a little bit. So I want to make sure there aren't any visible patches of white. Because currently there's a few. I had added like a lighter blue-green color to this that I also just think doesn't really fit now that I've got a lot more of it done. So this last stage is also just kind of covering that up. I'm definitely gonna get paint on my hands at this point. It happens. And then hopefully by this next stream, I'll be able to start doing more of the add-ons, like doing them, like adding the physical moss, adding little plants and flowers and texture details to wrap it up. All right, nearly there. I wonder what Aries is up to. It's already 6:30, which is fine, but at some point he'll get tired. It'll be dinner time, and then he'll come down here and be like, "Hey, where's my dinner, bitch?" And I'll have to go break for him. I should also be thinking about my own dinner. What did I decide on? I don't know. It'll be just some pasta and veggies like usual. Alright, here is my greenery. It has been really drastically improved this stream. Yay, that's exciting. Thank you. Saying it looks lovely, I appreciate that. It is very green. Ugh. I'm gonna have to do some more washes of like super light gray and just more shading in the white areas in general, because that can be a bit tricky. There's some basic shading in and around here, but I feel like it needs to be even more pronounced probably. Well, I think I could set this down without too much of it sticking. Nerdly K is tired, gonna take a shot at going to bed at a reasonable hour. Alright, good luck with that. Ugh. I'm starting to yawn. It's almost my dinner time too. I don't know, I feel like, on one hand I feel like moving on, keeping going, but on the other hand I'm like, I should eat. And if I leave the stream, I'm definitely gonna be done with this for now. How does the house look? It looks pretty good, I think. Yeah, it's not really transferring paint down below. Here is all of the progress that was made today. Well, I'm not ready to add moss onto it yet. The paint needs to dry for a while longer and then be like fully cured before I feel like gluing moss onto it. So I guess if I do anything else right now, then it needs to be more crafting or more painting in general. Okay, I'll take that challenge. I'm gonna keep working for now. Because the fact that I even feel like it means, you know, I need to take advantage of that. Okay, there's Moth Dust and... which one? Morning Mist. That's what we're gonna use. Got this color going on. Food is delicious too. Well, thank you, Axel 3D. I'm gonna mix this with some more white. And this one's called Snowflake. So this is already a very, very light color. It's gray, but it has some warmth to it. It's like almost like a super light lavender purple color. Keep that creativity going. I've been trying to get into the mindset of doing longer streams, and since I didn't stream yesterday, you know, I kind of dropped the ball on that. I'm gonna add some water to this too. I need a clean pipette for that. They're up here. Yeah, the white is from Apple Barrel. It's yet another plaid brand. So thank you, Plaid, for providing me with paints. I'm just straight up stealing this water from my little basin over here. The water helps add smoothness without reducing the opacity. And the, well, I mean, it doesn't. It's not the correct way to just make it less, to make it more transparent. That's what glazes are for, but I guess it's one way that you could approach it if you don't have a glaze. But I want this to be, you know, I'm going to add glaze to this too. So it'll be smooth and creamy, and also that will help carry the pigment, make it not so opaque. So I want to create like a wash, so more water. Those pipettes are a good idea. I'm glad I got those. Okay. I'm gonna go for a different small brush, one with shorter bristles. Are you sure I don't need a food break? I mean, I could. It's more so that I want to just like get as much done right now as I can before I swap into a different mode. Because once I end this stream, I usually stop being very productive for the evening. And so I'm more in a mindset of like, oh, I can do a bit more before I call it quits. Don't worry, I'll get my dinner. And then I sponge some of this detail on so it looks kind of chalky, which is fine. But now I'm just wondering if I can smooth out parts of it. With more blending and that kind of thing. Oh, there's like little spots down here. So originally this house was designed with like, it's designed to be a winter house. And so it has little parts. These sections were supposed to be snow, and I just decided, nope, they're going to be moss instead. And it just now occurred to me that there's some very light, small areas of that down here as well. So I'm going to have to do more with that. I'll move some things so I'm a little bit more centered on camera. Oh, Jamalis is out. Well, thank you for hanging out with us. It's been a good time. Even though I got totally engrossed in my project. I'm working on such tiny little sections now, but I'm trying to like clean up edges. It's like the edge of this window. And I have a super tiny brush, and I'm just like going back over sections that the purple kind of bled onto. Hey! Thank you, Cloud Darkwood, for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Welcome to the Forest Dweller community. Enjoy your emotes now that we have them. And thank you for helping me reach my sub goal. Oh, that's your husband, Mythic Phoenix. Yay! That's right. Get all your friends, get your lovers on board with our stream. I'm so glad to see the emotes now in the chat. I'm even more excited to commission them now that they're actually available for use. It was kind of frustrating that it was taking so long, and I was like, what? I've got to get a bunch of more of these ready too, and the ones I have aren't even available. But we're good now. I know that having my house resting on the tabletop is probably makes it a little bit harder to see all the details, but it makes it easier to paint at least these sections that are so tiny. Having it resting helps me to apply the paint more smoothly. Okay, I'm gonna be working on this back edge that's you totally can't see, but I promise you it's worth it. This is some of the most tedious and painstaking detail work, so I'm glad I'm getting it out of the way right now before I take my dinner break. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. You can't not chill for a stream. Hey, Discover Madison! Yeah, today's been a long one. I'm just still trying to make this progress. Now what next? Flip it and do this other side of the same window sills. Maybe show a little bit more detail for some of it. I'm trying to paint just the very, very thin edge of these tiny little window sills, so it's taking a bit more focus from me. But it's all worth it. This is a good remix too. Super Mario 64 was like the first game that I was really into as a kid. I'd play it just every day, tried to beat every level, but I don't think I did as a kid. I wasn't that good. But I tried. I was still playing it. Alright, I have more of these tiny little, almost unseen edges. But I swear, it really makes a difference to get them painted versus not. It adds like a sharpness to it that your brain is not really even fully aware of. But then you can tell kind of before versus after. It's worth it. Kelp Self says, it's crazy how much of a difference that shading has already made. That's what I'm thinking. I'm glad that it's apparent on camera. It doesn't just look like I'm wasting my time on it. Don't spill your paint, Heidi. That would be a nightmare. Sometimes I give myself little pep talks in the third person. Sometimes. There's nobody else around to do it, so, you know. Sometimes you just gotta talk to yourself. Get that self-pep going. Now I'm starting to get hungry. My tummy is like, okay, it's getting closer to dinner time now, right? So I don't know how much longer I'll keep going, but I have at least want to use up some of this paint while it's still wet. Although I'm almost definitely going to have to go back and do this again. Just because it's so easy to miss these little details. It's a bit frustrating, but I signed up for this. Hey, there's a raid. Thank you, Mama Samu. Mama's Kohai Army raids again. I love it. Welcome to the stream, Mama Samu and Raiders. If you're just now joining us, I'm in the midst of painting a little fairy house. Just magical little house things. Oh, that's super cute. With the hype emotes. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Mama Samu. Oh, okay. Mama Samu says, hello, I'm a fan of your work and I've followed your cosplay for years. So happy I could raid today. I'm happy too. Welcome. I'm glad that you chose me and stopped by. Here's our current progress on a fairy house. It's a small ceramic house. It's gonna have a little candle inside when I'm done. And I've been in the process of painting this for several streams, kind of off again, on again. And I'm doing some tedious detailing on it right now. So it's really nice to get some fresh faces in here. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Mama Sama says it's cute. I appreciate that. I love making these little fairy house projects. And I've got a bunch more. Bunch more on the way. Some of these details are so small, but it's still worth it. Gotta have that high-res paint job, or at least as much as I can. We level up each time. What was that? Oh, I think that was a different Twitch notification on my iPad. Or it's not even an iPad, tablet. Maybe some more of my friends are streaming too. Okay, this is the tiny little back edge that I'm painting now. I'm gonna have to go back over my white to clean that up, but those are the highest raised edges, so that will happen last. cool. Alright, next side. I'm in that late part of the day where I'm just like kind of locked in on my project here, so forgive me for being so focused, but it's been a long stream already. Been going for about 3 hours. Your grandmother has at least 100 of these little houses? That's amazing. That's the kind of house I want to live in, is a house that's filled with other tiny houses. I just think they're super cute. Wow, I actually already did all the way around on the windowsills. Awesome. Great. Good job, Heidi. Thanks, Heidi. Alright. Tiny house. That's the dream. Living the dream. Alright, I am starting to get really hungry though. I think I am gonna call it a dinner time. I need to, I'm waiting on an emote that we'll take with us on raids, but I've never really done raids. She has them for the holidays, a full village, for Christmas, Halloween, and now Easter. That sounds awesome. So she's got their holiday themed houses. Okay, that's a good concept. It is dinner time. I'm very hungry. Thanks for stopping by, Mama Sama and crew. Mama Samu and crew. Hopefully we'll be able to do our own raids in the future, but I'm gonna have to research that. And yeah, it's dinner time. I'm hungry. I gotta go wash these paintbrushes out. Thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully this stream was even more fun to watch now that I have better cameras set up. But just to recap, this is how far we came on our house today. And next time, I will be ready to start adding moss and flowers to this and finally add some like more dimensional details, cover these trees up with actual leaves and make it look a little bit more realistic. So thank you guys for joining me. I will be back tomorrow. Either we'll be working on this or I don't know what. I guess I'll decide that on Twitter. I did make great progress today. Thank you, Kelp Self. And thank you everybody who has sat around and hung out with me. Let me bring up my face cam to say goodbye. Anything special going on the rest of the week? I don't know. Tomorrow I'll be streaming during the day again, and then Friday is kind of undecided. I'm gonna hang out with some friends during the day Friday, and then hopefully still have energy to do a Friday evening stream, but we'll see. But that's what we have going on for now. Thank you guys for your support and viewership as I paint little houses, and I'm gonna go feed myself, eat some veggies, and I hope that you have a great night. Bye!